All right. It appears we are live streaming. So this is the Jitsi community conference call for Monday, February the 13th, 2017. We're just going to go through real quick with the updates and progress. And I guess since I'm the one that's moderating, I have the privilege of also giving my updates. I've been working a lot on the Jibri recording service. So my main focus has been to make it a little bit more stable, make it more likely to launch every single time, to send better error messages when it doesn't, and to do better auto-scaling type handling for graceful shutdowns and the like. I've been making pretty good progress with that, and my hope is to continue with it this week. I've also been working on something I was hoping to show off, which was a gateway, sort of like the Jibri, but that will connect up hardware-based solutions like the Life Size to a Jitsi Meet conference. So I was hoping to get to show that off in this meeting, but apparently I'll just have to say I'm making some progress on it, and hopefully I'll have something to show by next time. So I guess we'll go around to the team next and have everyone talk about their progress. Here in the list I see Lubo first, so why don't we have Lubo talk about what he's been doing.
So on the mobile side, we've been trying mostly to fix serious problems. So we worked on, and I merged his PRs. So now we have in the mobile app the app running in the background, and then it mutes the local participant here, so he can talk more about it. So that the local video is muted. Like capturing video unnecessarily, given that the OS is not going to give any video frames anyway. We film with character casing in room names that happens on the mobile app. We'll continuing with fixes this week. The remote participants when the app goes into the background because no one's seeing it, so why render their videos or like even receive them? That's work that Zoe is doing. We'll have to look into the app keeping a connection to the server when it's in the background. That's about it. So Kenny, do you wanna add stuff?
Yeah. So, well, I think you summarized it pretty good. Today I was looking at that background stuff, which is a deeper rabbit hole than I thought. Basically, the app will stop working at some point while in the background because iOS and Android decide that way. So before we do the remote muting, I think we need to make it work in the background properly. So stay up and stuff. And I will continue to look into that. It may involve maybe switching to WebSockets on Android at least. Who knows? I'm still trying to figure out if there is a consistent way to make it work in both platforms. So
okay, thank you. And something that's not mobile related, because wanted to have the web app with its context root, so now this work is merged into the master of Jitsi Meet. So we don't have example files how to deploy the web server in such a way that it respects the context root. But if you manage to if you need such a thing and you figure it out, then the web app, at least the JavaScript part, should be aware of it and cooperate with your efforts. And that's all for me.
Cool. Thank you, Lubo. So next on my list, I have Pavel. Pavel, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been working on in the last couple weeks?
Yes, so I'm finishing work on adding peer-to-peer to to libjitsi meet. Basically, it will switch from using the bridge to direct connection between the participants, and I'm almost done with the work on that. I will probably create a PR tomorrow or today maybe, and I hope it will be matched this week. Other than that, we've fixed some issue with set remote description failure. It would basically look like a broken conference because nobody will be able to video mute or screen share and stuff like that. It should be fixed. I think it's deployed on Jitsi now. And yes, that's all from me.
Cool, thank you, Pavel. The next person I have on my list is Damien. Dementia, do you want to say a little more?
Hey, so I was traveling to FOSDEM, and there over the weekend we progressed with releasing Jitsi, the desktop client, and most of the time I was working on Gigasis and the last problems we had before putting them in production. So they're now deployed, and you can go in the meetings through the phone. So that's it.
Nice. Okay, so the next person I have in the meeting is Yana. Yana, do you want to talk a little more?
Sure. Could you please mute? Oh, what? Then get the volume. Okay, I'm sorry, we are in the same room. I've been, for the last 2 weeks, I've been mostly doing design work, and we are trying to redesign a little bit our invite experience. There will be some changes very soon in that regard in the UI of Meet Jitsi. It's not implemented yet. So something else, Christo is not here, but I just wanted to say that he's working a lot on improving our iframe API and fixing bugs around the film strip only experience as well. And I've worked with him around the UI questions there. So that's my work there. And probably worth mentioning that we're also planning on updating the new Jitsi this week. Probably tomorrow, but it may be later this week. So that's for me.
Cool, so the next person I have here would be Brian. Brian, do you want to say a little bit about what you've been doing?
Yeah, so for the last couple of weeks, there was some work and some fixes around RTX stuff that was causing some issues with upper answer. Also some work on enabling H.264 and setting things up so we can start playing around with doing H.264 on mobile to take advantage of the hardware acceleration. We've been trying to track down the SCTP crash and haven't managed to quite chase that down yet, but hopefully the next time we catch it after this next release with some more debug, we'll have some good info there. And I'm going to start looking at, also looked into a couple Chrome bugs, like the one with the video stop sending, which we did get to the bottom of, but haven't gotten any response from Google on that yet. And then I'm going to start taking a look at some performance measurements and kind of poking around there.
Cool, thank you very much. Saul, I know you spoke mostly when you were talking about Lubo stuff, but if you have anything else to add, feel free.
Let me remember. So for the past couple of weeks, I mostly work on adding mobile-specific features, like Lubo said. So meeting your local video in the background, appending PR is to share the URL. The idea being the native share sheet will show and you can share the URL easily. I made a couple of very small fixes to the Electron thing, I think, and I briefly looked at the iframe API, which was on my list, and shared some ideas with Christo on how to do a V2 version of it, let's say, while keeping the old one around so that we don't break everybody's work.
Cool.
I think that's pretty much it.
Well, next we have George, who's sitting right next to me. So take it away, George.
Yeah. So for the past couple of weeks, I was mostly working on probing for bandwidth. So this is in the context of adaptivity, and the goal is for the bridge to take into account the available send bandwidth that it has towards a specific receiver. We don't want to. So when the network conditions are bad, we might the bridge might decide to send only a thumbnail. And suppose to fix the setting here. Suppose we're in this call, and Lubo, for example, he might have some connectivity issues. The bridge needs to scale down and send only, for example, in an extreme case, only a thumbnail, as opposed to all of the video streams from all the other participants, or even no thumbnails at all. And in that case, well, when that happens, the bridge needs to be able to probe for available bandwidth so that it resumes and restores the streams that it's sending to Lubo. So we do this by probing, sending. Well, it depends. We are sending data. What kind of data we send? This is a choice that we need to make. So, but the idea is to probe for available bandwidth, and we have. So I have been working on that for the past couple of weeks. We have a PR that implements a first version of that, but it's a very basic implementation, and it needs to be optimized, and we can do it smarter, but at least it works. So that's one thing I have been working on. The other thing is I spent some time to rework the lip sync hack. This is in the context of people have been complaining about audio not being able to hear each other in calls. This is because we decide in Jitsi to merge the audio and the video streams together for a specific participant, so that Chrome performs lip sync, so that we don't hear, so that we hear and see a participant like synced and not out of sync. So we merge the streams, and but then there is a very weird behavior on the Chrome side, where it doesn't start the audio playout if it doesn't receive any video packets. And so we have implemented the lip sync hack, which implements black keyframes, which injects black keyframes for if, for example, a participant is only sending audio and not video. So we try to hack the video SSRC by sending black keyframes. That's working most of the time, but not all of the time. And I spent some time on reworking that lip sync hack, and now the plan is, again, it's not merged, it's a PR. The plan is to inject black keyframes until either we see media packets, video media packets, or until we receive an RR report, an RTPRR report for the SSRC that we are hijacking. So that's one other thing. And the other thing is that that I have started last week, and I'm going to continue this week, is that and maybe this will affect our release cycle, but this is something to be discussed with the others in the team, is so Lubo last week reported that we are observing more connectivity issues with the new implementation, because he's testing on beta our staging environment, and it has the new implementation, a very big refactoring has been pushed to master, and it changes a lot of things. So compared to Jitsi, the production environment, it doesn't behave as well. So we have Lubo has observed connectivity issues, more frequent connectivity issues than the production website. So I'm going to spend some time and see what's wrong there. One possible explanation is because on beta, on our staging environment, we have activated the adaptivity, which scales down and scales back up the video streams that you are getting depending on your network available bandwidth. I need to check this out, and I'm sure we are going to find bugs to fix during this process. So reliability and performance might be the thing I'm going to be working at least some days of this week.
Thank you, George. Sounds like you were busy. So to my left is Boris, who is now going to give updates on what he's been doing. Boris?
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. So we sort of kicked off a new project about 2 weeks ago, and it has to do with end-to-end encryption. So I suppose not everyone is familiar with the PERC working group at the IETF. PERC stands for Privacy Enhanced RDP Conferencing, and they are developing protocols to allow for end-to-end encryption and in centralized conferences. So we have a conference where we have a server like ours, but the media is end-to-end encrypted, and the server does not have access to the media itself. So we spun off a project together with some guys from Symphony and with Alex Gouillard. So the way this works is everything is encrypted twice. Once end-to-end, and the second time hop-to-hop. So once from the browsers to the bridge, and once end-to-end. Now, in order for end-to-end encryption to work and also allow the bridge to modify some of the headers, some RTP header extensions are used so that receivers can reconstruct the exact copy of the original packet so that they can decrypt and verify it. So far we've implemented part of what the PERC working group describes in the double draft, which is, well, once understanding the frame markings header extension so that we don't have to rely on inspecting the VP8 payload whenever we want to find out if a packet contains a keyframe or not. And second, whenever we modify any of the header fields, that is the RTP sequence number, timestamp, or SSRC, we include a new header extension, which is a copy, which contains a copy of the original values before the modification. The current document in the IETF does not allow for rewriting of the timestamp and the SSRC, so we had to extend the format a bit to add this, because otherwise we have no way of implementing it in our current system. So most of this work on, which is the part in the bridge, is now done. I think there's 2 PRs there, quite small. One is merged, the other, it's either merged or it's close to being merged, not sure about that. So the rest of the work here would be mostly in the browsers, which have to, well, first implement some scheme to share a key between the participants, and then some scheme to actually perform the double encryption. So as far as I know, Mozilla are planning to start work on this, or have started work on this recently. So I'm looking forward to potentially working with them together on this in the future. I think that's about it.
Cool. Thank you very much, Boris. So I think that wraps up the team. I see Emil has joined. Emil, do you have anything else you would like to say?
This could be the lip sync issue.
Well, so while we're waiting for Emil to join and come back again.
Do you hear me now?
Oh, we do. Perfect.
So no, nothing to add.
Great. Thank you very much for adding that. So now we're going to move on to the open mic. Does anybody else want to raise anything or discuss anything with us? Looks like Gus would like to speak. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, well, first of all, Lubo, thanks for fixing that context root stuff. That really got me not in trouble, but I couldn't fix that myself. So thank you for taking care of that for me. I've seen something in the desktop client that might be a result of my environment not being set up properly, which is the second thing I'll come back to. What I observed client repeatedly a couple of times per second. Doesn't, but
I'm sorry to say, Gus, that your audio is cutting in and out. I wonder if you could possibly start over again. Sorry to interrupt you.
His camera.
You may want to turn off your camera too, just to make sure that we can hear your audio properly.
again.
Okay, now I can hear you.
So I've seen in my debug logs that the desktop client is repeatedly sending service discovery requests to the video bridge, more than once per second. So that might be an issue in the desktop client, or it might be related to my environment in which the video bridge is running. But I thought I would mention it just so that you guys are aware. Damien has helped me last week to figure out what is wrong with my environment. I've set up a video bridge, focus component, as well as the web client, and everything appears to be working, but participants do not see or hear each other. Damien gave me all kinds of tips, which I tried to apply. That didn't resolve anything. So today I spent rebuilding another environment completely, new virtual machine on Amazon. But there I have the exact same problem. So I'm looking for someone who can help me to figure out what's going on, because I've checked everything that I am aware of and I can't figure out what's going on. So basically I'm looking for help there.
Just out of the blue here, did you confirm that the host name that the machine thinks it has actually resolves to an IP address on that local machine?
Yes, in both instances, probably.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I need that for XMPP as well. So I've set up a record, I've set up a DNS SRV record, and I've made sure that the machine itself identifies itself as the same name as the A record.
Yeah, the video bridge was acceptable to that before, but I'm sorry. Otherwise, I have no real idea, so I'll see if the rest of the team has any.
Share again what the issue is. Like, nothing is working.
Well, everything comes up, and both if I join a meet with two different laptops, both participants get notified that someone else joined the meet, but they cannot see or hear each other through audio or video. They can chat with each other, but not.
Just to make sure that this is supposed to work, have you tried to use Meet Jitsi and like this website and see if it's working or not?
Yep, I did with the exact same two laptops.
And it worked, right?
That worked.
So it's not a.
No, it is very likely something related to my setup of how I try to combine the video bridge, the focus component, and this web application.
Yeah, are they? Is the video bridge like successfully registered as a component in the XMPP server?
Yeah, it's hard to verify that as it's now done internally, not externally, but I think so because I see all kinds of traffic going back and forth, health checks, stuff like that.
Then maybe ICE is failing for some reason. And you could check that even in WebRTC internals, there is a WebRTC internals. Are you familiar with WebRTC internals?
Not really. People have told me what to type in the address bar of Chrome, and then magic shows up. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so there you have the sequence of steps that are executed on each individual peer connection and a bunch of other statistics. And it is possible that, like normally, you have a step and ICE-related steps, and the last steps should be ICE succeeded, for example. Maybe you don't have ICE is failing, and you can have an indication there. Yeah, otherwise, we need to have a look at the logs and see what's going on. Really.
I am more than willing to give anyone root access to that machine that I just created, if that would help resolving this issue.
I think the first step would be to look at the JavaScript logs because we have a lot of stuff there. And you can grep for time. This will give you an idea of which parts of the process happened and which didn't.
Yeah, I've tried doing that, but my problem is that unlike you guys who know the process in and out, I'm just seeing a lot of data on my screen with a lot of acronyms that I really can't place if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, sure. If you can post the log somewhere, we can take a look, or feel free to talk to me personally if you want.
We should have a troubleshooting guide somewhere, because people keep coming up with issues exactly like that. Like we have seen that multiple times.
I think we
as I remember, the problem was ICE was failing. I was seeing the public IPs, the JVPs, but still ICE was failing.
But if it's on AWS, doesn't it need to forward some ports to that machine? Like at least UDP 10,000 to forward it.
I can't make out what the last person has been saying. I couldn't hear that.
Sorry, what George was saying was that if you're hosting at Amazon, you also need to make sure the security groups have opened up all of the correct ports for the application.
Right. So the instance that Damien looked at wasn't the Amazon one. I created an Amazon-based one this morning. And I think I opened up everything that Damien suggested that I did.
Okay, yeah, I figured you would, but just we're going through and kind of checking the basics. It sounds like we're not going to be able to necessarily debug you immediately or solve it immediately here, but we'd happily take more of your logs and talk to you more about it offline.
Yeah, perhaps some of you could stick around after this call, and then we could exchange some contact information.
All right, so Gus, if that resolves or not resolves your issue, do you have anything else, or shall I move on to something else?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, anyone else interested in speaking, asking questions, making comments, etc.? This is an open microphone call, going once, going twice. Anybody else have anything to say on our Jitsi community call of Monday, February 13th? Otherwise, I will wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining. This has been fun, and we'll meet again next time. Take care.